Hello everybody, it's Tanner Fishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over my entire Ninjago minifigure collection from top to bottom, everything that I have in my collection as of right now, and it's been a minute since I've actually done a minifigure collection update video, so I figured it was about time to do one since you guys have been asking for it over on my live streams. I've been collecting Ninjago minifigures for quite some time, ever since Ninjago came out in 2011, and I feel like I've built a pretty good collection if I do say so myself. This collection consists of over 450 minifigures, and this stand that I've built out of Lego holds the majority of my collection. Not all of it though. I do have some minifigures still in storage that I simply cannot find, and I do have a couple of minifigures in this random cardboard box that I have that was also in storage. So realistically the collection is probably over 500 figures, but as of right now I have around 450 right here. In today's video we're going to be going through all of these figures, but I'm not going to be going through them individually because that would just take up way too much time. Instead, we're going to be doing this in groups of 12. I will go ahead and present to you guys 12 minifigures from my collection, and we will keep going until we have showcased every single one in some way, shape, or form. But as you can see, we have a lot to get through, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Feel free to grab a drink, grab some popcorn or something. We might be here for a while. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's take a look at my entire Ninjago minifigure collection. Let's begin by taking a look at the Kais. Here we have the first 12 Kais in my collection, from the original Kai all the way to Day of the Departed Kai. I think Kai has some pretty good outfits. I especially enjoy Kimono Kai up front and center there. He looks pretty cool. Otherwise, yeah, this is the first batch of Kai figures. This is the second batch of Kai figures, obviously starting with Hands of Time Kai, going through the Ninjago movie and going all the way to the modern day of Ninjago Core, and we also have the 10-year anniversary Golden Kai there right at the end. I think modern day Kai has some pretty cool costumes that should not be overlooked, but I still find myself preferring the older Kai costumes, not really sure why. Here we have our first batch of J minifigures. I think that JDX might actually be one of the rarest figures in my collection, not really sure though. Otherwise, I feel like J has some pretty cool costumes as well. Blue is my favorite color, so I appreciate these suits a lot. And here we have some more J figures, some more modern interpretations of the character, especially the Ninjago Core version of J. Otherwise, what else do we have in here? The Ninjago movie J, we have Island J back there. Pretty good selection of J figures if I do say so myself. Here we have the first batch of Cole minifigures. If you guys don't know, Cole is my favorite ninja, and I've made it my mission to try to collect as many Coles as I can. Here we have the first few of them, and here we have the second batch of Cole figures. I enjoy just how different both of these groups of figures are. The modern day versions of Cole tend to use orange as a secondary color, while the previous versions of Cole used gray primarily as a secondary or accent color. Here we have the first group of Zane figures. You can see the original up there front and center. We also have the battle damaged one there in the back, and obviously the titanium Zane, which just so happens to be one of my favorite Ninjago figures ever. As for the second group of Zane figures, this group is pretty cool as well. I enjoy some of the face printing of the earlier Zanes, but this group isn't so bad either. My favorites include Sons of Garmadon Zane, we have the Ice Emperor Zane, which is always fun, and even Ninjago Core Zane I actually don't find to be all that bad. Lloyd Garmadon is a pretty special case because his figures can get pretty crazy in terms of a design. As you can see, we have our first batch of Lloyd figures right here, including Lloyd ZX, Kimono Lloyd, and the original Golden Ninja Lloyd, some of my favorite Ninjago Lloyd figures ever made. As for the second batch of Lloyd figures, we have some other ones, including the Island Lloyd, we have some of the Legacy Lloyds, and of course we have the Golden 10-year anniversary version of Lloyd as well, which of course I did add a green half mask on, just because it looks more complete that way. I really enjoy Nia's minifigures as well, just because of how much variation is going on in between each one. As you can see, we have our first batch right here, including the third one in there. That is a custom Nia figure done up by a good friend of mine known as Brickalips. That is one of the only fan-made minifigures in my entire collection. Otherwise, the rest of the figures are really cool. You can see how Nia progressed from Kai's sister and all the way through her Samurai X attire to get to the Water Ninja phase. Here we have the second group of Nia minifigures, including NRG Nia in the back there, and I also have some versions of Pixel here as well. I always try to include my Pixel figures along with my Nia ones just to showcase the transition from one Samurai X to another. Here we have the first batch of Master Wu minifigures, which I do think includes the majority of them. Could be mistaken there, might be missing a couple here and there. In fact, I don't think I have Season 11 Wu, but I have the rest of them, I believe. I really enjoy the Golden Samurai version of Master Wu, which was actually recently added to my collection. I also enjoy some of the other kimonos as well. I feel like Master Wu has some of the better designed figures out of any Ninjago character. Here we have a random Garmadon family display, including the leftover Master Wu figures, and of course all all of the Garmadons, or at least the ones that I care to collect. I also have Baby Wu down there in the bottom right, and a couple of versions of Masako, including the TV show and the movie counterpart, which sometimes goes by the name of Coco, depending on who you talk to. Here we start getting into some randomness. Here we have some Elemental Masters, including 4 of the Legacy 2 Ninja, as well as a leftover Titanium Zane without the hood or shoulder armor. And here we have my Skylar collection, the only 3 Skylar figures that exist. Kind of a shame, we need more Skylar figures. I also have some Elemental Masters there, including Ash, Karloff, Griffin Turner, and Nero, Master of the Mind. Rounding out the Elemental Masters in the second batch, here we have Bolobo, Gravis, Jacob, and Shade or Shadow. Again, depending on who you talk to. We have a couple of versions of Dareth there, one of my least favorite characters, and Ray and Maya, and the Mailman, as well as a couple of versions of Ronin, and the Legacy 3 version of Zane, which is unfortunately the only Legacy 3 ninja that exists as of right now. Moving on to more ninja allies, I see Cyrus Borg, Little Nelson, Echo, Zane, Clutch Powers, Hutchins, Okino, and then on the top row we have Scott, Vanya, Benthamar, and a couple of versions of the ninja that you get in the Ninjago City Gardens set. Those, of course, are known as Urban J, Urban Cole, and Urban Nia, respectively. Now we're moving on to the bad guys. I really enjoy collecting Ninjago villains, and this is a pretty random batch, but I do like how these guys look together. We have a couple of versions of the Overlord there, including the 2 that you get from Legacy, a couple of different versions of General Cryptor. One of them is probably from Day of the Departed, if I'm not mistaken. You also have Mindroid, Master Chen, Klaus, Nadakon, and a couple different versions of Kozu, and I guess you could say that's the giant stone warrior there on the far right-hand side in his prison outfit. Moving on to some other Ninjago villains, you have a couple of versions of Morrow up front there, including the one where he's possessing Lloyd's body. That is a really rare figure as well. Speaking of rare figures, on the far right you have Achronix and Crux, the Time Twins. Those 2 might actually be pretty rare as well. They go for a fair bit. Also on the stand here we have a couple of Sky Pirates, including Flintlock and Clancy, a couple of the Vermilion Generals, and all 3 versions of Harumi and Mr. E over there on the far right. Mr. E is actually the only Sons of Garmadon General, aside from Harumi, that I own right now. I do not have Ultraviolet, and I do not have Kilo, just yet at least. Here we have some other bad guys, including some newer villainous faces. We have the Iron Baron up front. We also have the Mechanic from the Ninjago City Gardens. I also have Unagami, the Skull Sorcerer, Chief Mamadis there, and in the back we have the Oni leader Omega, followed by Asphira, and Kalmar is just hanging out back there as well. Over on the far right-hand side, I just have some random figures there, including the Ninjago City Gardens Misako, and a random Legacy Lloyd, and a random Master Wu figure. Pretty sure that one's from 2012. Now we're getting into some truly random chaos. We have the Airjitsu Ninja, another version of Zuken Kai, and another version of the Nia Samurai X from Season 4. In the background, I have an Oni figure, just a random Oni, and the 3 versions of Pythor that I have in my collection, including the original and the 2 white versions of him, and also Scales is just kind of hanging out back there too. Here's a couple of other random characters. I'm seeing Frackjaw from the Skeletons up in front there. We also have a couple of generic foot soldiers. This might be my foot soldier display. And additionally, I'm not sure what the robot from the DBX is doing back there, but hey, I guess he's included here as well, right? He's technically a minifigure, right? Maybe. Here we have a couple of random variants of the ninja, including Kai, Jay, Lloyd, and Zane in their avatar forms. I also have Golden Zane up front as well from the Ninjago Legacy line, not the 10-year anniversary version. There's Prison Zane there as well. In the background, you have another Lloyd ZX. That one actually comes from the Lego movie sets, if I'm not mistaken. You also have a couple of young Lloyds there. Lloyd DX, which is also a really rare figure. You have another Legacy Golden Lloyd, and Future Nia, which I gave a custom hairpiece to, because I think that makes her look more like how we saw her in the Season 5 reflections. Here are some more random versions of the ninja that I just had lying around, including the Epic Battle Ninja. We also have the unmasked versions of the ninja from the Ninjago movie, a random Captain Soto back there, and Future J, one of my favorite Ninjago minifigures of all time. Here we start to get into the spares. Now this is pretty much just spare stuff in my collection, extras of figures that I already have on display. As you can see, we have 4 Legacy Kais. Not surprised, we'll probably see more later on in the video as well. Couple of Legacy Zanes, a Legacy Cole, a Legacy J, and a couple of the Ninjago movie ninja that I just so happen to have extras of. Here are some other extra figures. You also have Dogshank in the back there, which I did not showcase earlier. A couple of the newer Ninjago core figures, some Seabound stuff, random Jungle Lloyd back there from the island, and of course 2 more Legacy Kais in the back row on the far right. What a shocker. Here are a couple of random Ninjago movie figures. We have up front the casual versions of all 6 of the Ninjago movie Ninja, and in the back you have some figures from the Ninjago movie collectible minifigures line, including the sushi chef all the way there on the far right. That's also one of my favorite Ninjago figures. Here we have some other random Ninjago movie stuff. Again, extras of all 6 of the movie Ninja, not surprised there, and some other Ninjago movie CMF stuff in the very back row. I feel like these things just keep getting more random as we go along, but here we have some more extra figures or just backup figures, including the micro figures from the Ninjago 2011 board game up front there. Those are recent additions to my collection. We also have some random figures in the back, including another original Kai, Forbidden Spinjitzu Zane, and also a couple of other random things there. I think we have 2 Tournament Lloyds from Legacy. Yeah, Avatar Cole. Pretty random lot right here. Here are some other miscellaneous figures, including 3 versions of Season 11 Kai, 3 backups, I guess you could say. We have a couple of Skybound J's there as well, a JZX extra, which I think is actually pretty good to have. I don't mind having doubles of those. And of course, we have just a couple of other things in the background that simply do not matter, or simply do not need to be in the main collection. Even more randomness. I'm not sure what's going on with Master Wu there in the back. He seems to be missing his hat. But who else do we have here? Another Tournament Kai. I think we've seen a couple of those already. Another Young Lloyd from Legacy. Dragon Master Zane, an extra Garmadon. Yeah, pretty random stuff here as well. I hate to say the word random over and over again, but this is pretty random. Here we have some extra bad guys, and also on the stand I see some NRG Ninja. I only have Kai and Cole, so I do not have the full collection. Extras of Moro, couple Island Keepers, couple of the Legacy Ghosts, and of course the Santa Garmadon. Several of the Serpentine members we have here, along with a couple of those rats from Prime Empire, an extra Overlord from Legacy, and a Spinjitzu Burst Cole with both Blades of Deliverance. Here we start getting into some of the villain armies. I have a couple of Stone Warriors, a bunch of the snakes from Ninjago Core, and a couple of random Legacy / Seabound stuff in the back there. Here we have some Sky Pirates and some of those weird Moray Guards or Hydro Snakes, whatever you want to call them. I also have an extra version of Kalmar back there, and extras of Scuba Kai and Scuba Cole. Here we have some Anachondri cultists or whatever. As you can see, I have 3 Legacy Izors and 1 of the original, so I guess that's cool, I guess. We also have some other random Anachondri people, including an extra Master Chen, but he does not have the cape, unfortunately. Here we have a couple more Anachondri generals and a couple of the Anachondri snakes on top there, and the start of my Nindroid collection, including an extra Legacy Zane, which I found just randomly under my desk, so I guess that's something. And here we have the rest of the Nindroid army that I have right now. I do think I have more Nindroids somewhere, but I could not find the extra bag of Nindroids that I have. Until then, this is my very small Nindroid army. And with that being said, guys, that'll pretty much do it for my entire Ninjago minifigure collection. I think we've gone through everything that I have on display right now. Unfortunately, I could not find the other duplicates or spare figures that I have in storage. They might be at my parents' house. They might be somewhere in my storage unit downstairs. I have no idea where exactly they are. All I know is that this is what we have right now. I imagine if I ever move, I will find the rest of my Ninjago minifigure collection, and I will probably be doing an update video then. In the meantime, guys, that'll pretty much do it for my entire Ninjago minifigure collection as of 2022 February, and I hope you enjoyed this entire showcase. Let me know what you think of my collection down below in the comments section, and let me know how your Ninjago minifigure collection is going as well. Additionally, let me know if you made it to the end of this video. I'm always curious to see who watches all the way to the end. Let me know down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this look back at my entire Ninjago minifigure collection, and if you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and as always, check out the links down below in the description for other forms of social media. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Once again, you guys, my name is Tanner Fishies, and with that, I bid you farewell.